Hi everybody, today we're going to be doing another review of a website that you can use to learn German. Today I'm talking about Verbix.com. Verbix is one simple website that does one thing and one thing only, but it does it very, very well. This is a verb conjugation website, but it's a little bit more in-depth than just giving you the present tense conjugation of something. First off, when you first get to Verbix.com, you'll notice that there are several languages to choose from. We have Spanish, German, Portuguese, Italian, and French, and they all have the word to be as their suggested one, so if you just click go, it automatically conjugates the verb sein for you. First thing you might notice is that they have the word here nominal forms, which are the infinitive, the present participle, and the past participle. So if you're using a present participle, that's used whenever it's used as an adjective. The past participle is used whenever it's used in the past tense, obviously, or the spoken past tense, which in English we call the present perfect tense. You are then given the indicative and the conjunctive, or the Konjunktiv 1 und 2. Now, they don't really tell you what these two are used for, which is kind of my only complaint about this website, but they do at least give you these forms and tell you which form they are. But the cool thing is, if it's irregular, they'll highlight it for you in red. So you'll notice that all of the present tense forms of sein and all of the past tense ones are all in red. That's because sein is entirely irregular. Now the rest of it is in black, and that's because it actually follows the same pattern based on the past tense or the present tense, and so we have here the bin gewesen part and stuff like that. That actually follows a pattern, and so that is still on here as being regular, even though all of the other ones are in red. Now it gives you the present tense, it gives you the past tense, it gives you the future tense, and the future too, which is future tense after future tense. You know, things that happen in the future after other things have happened in the future. You also have the present perfect tense and the pluperfect, which, by the way, is a fantastic past before past. It's basically the future too, except in the past events. Conjunctive is the forms that you'll find whenever you are talking about things that are hypotheticals. It's also used for removed speech or quotations used in, like, you know, news articles and stuff like that. And then you also have four tenses to go with the Konjunktiv 1 und 2, and that is the present tense, the past tense, the perfect tense, which is the spoken past tense, and then also the pluperfect, which is the past before past in the subjunctive, or the Konjunktiv 1 und 2. You also are given the do and ir forms of the imperative. I wish they would also give you the Z form in this, but apparently they didn't think that was all that necessary. In German, for like most of the verbs, it's going to be whatever the Z form is normally. In this particular instance, however, it would be handy to know that it's actually sein. You also then have the conditional form, which is actually used for, like, would be, would have been nice to have, and stuff like that. You only have two forms here, and that is the present tense and the perfect tense. Then it also gives you the translations, so we have a bunch of different translations into English, giving you to be and how it's all used in the various forms, and it gives you kind of, for instance, ideas whenever you're scrolling through there of when it's actually used. If you come across a verb that has a form that is acceptable in a different way, such as the word wandern, you'll notice that in blue you have a accepted form, but it's not necessarily the exact form that you'll find that most people use. So you have a blue form and you have a black form. Those are kind of odd. So we have in the ich form, for instance, in the present tense for wandern, you have ich wandere, or you can have ich wandre. Either way is technically acceptable according to this wonderful little website here. Now, from the home page, you'll also notice that we have off to the side here the translate and conjugate. So from there, you can actually translate a word. So you click on translate and conjugate, and you get a bunch of different options. You can actually translate to any language. So for instance, it comes up with the option here to conjugate in English, and it gives you a bunch of different languages. And it gives you the German one down here as konjugieren. If you search for something like go, in German, you would actually have several different options, and so they give you here gehen and fahren. If you put down something like walk, you again have several options, so you have laufen, gehen, wandern, and spazieren gehen. Spazieren gehen does not have its own conjugation because gehen is the conjugation, and spazieren goes at the end like it's a separable prefix. You can actually download a copy of this so that you can have a conjugator on your particular computer, so you don't have to, you know, go out and get onto the internet, as inconvenient as the internet is and everything. But you can have this on your Windows PC if you have one of those. I personally do not, which means that I can't actually tell you how well it works or how it works or any of that stuff. So if you have a PC and you've tried this, go ahead and leave a comment down below so that others can know, because I have no idea. Anyway, like I said, Verbix is a fantastic website for the simple fact that it does one thing and does one thing very, very well. It conjugates verbs, it does it in a bunch of different languages, and it does it really well and thoroughly. I actually have a book that's called 500 Plus German Verbs, and in that book it does exactly what Verbix does, except that Verbix is free, and the book actually cost me like 20 bucks. So yeah. So my only complaints are for this particular website is that it doesn't give you the Z form of the commands, which would be handy in certain instances where it's actually not the same as the infinitive. And my other complaint is that it doesn't actually tell you when these tenses are used. It just kind of throws out, here's what the name of the tense is, but without actually knowing what that means, you won't actually know how to use them and when to use them and why to use them. And so you do have to have a little bit of a background in the language before you can understand what they even mean. But that being said, if you're looking up the verb conjugation on a website like this, most often you're going to actually know what tense you're looking for to begin with. Anyway, go ahead and leave a comment down below if you've ever tried Verbix, you like Verbix, you get a different website that you think is better than Verbix, anything like that, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. In the meantime, I'm out of here for today. Dankeschön. Tschüss.